Hello, dear friends. Every day we know a little more about where global change is headed. This is my opinion based on several sources about what I think is happening in the world, although there are some news and rumors that are pending confirmation. Getting ahead of the curve has its risks, and a lot of caution is necessary, but researching is an exciting adventure that guides us which way the wind of global change is blowing. Opinion piece. The cycle is over. Sequence of events. 5 major events are expected. Russia is switching to the gold standard. Russia's economy is dependent on China. China and Russia move away from the petrodollar. Saudi Arabia follows suit. The restart will come after the gold standard. Digital currency would come after the QFS. Revaluation of the Iraqi dinar would be the beginning. Let's start. From what little we know, we already have a clue as to the likely order of sequence of 5 major global financial events, although no specific date can be given. The cycle of the old world economic system has ended since several countries are demanding their payments backed by precious metals and commodities. This demand would lead to 5 major financial events. First, the introduction of the gold standard. Second, the revaluation of currencies. Third, the global financial restart. Fourth, the quantum financial system. And fifth, digital currency with guaranteed privacy for those who commit no crime. This path of roses wouldn't exclude a thorn called black swan that would force the change by hook or by crook, by civil or military means. The restart would have occurred on May 1st according to Restored Republic, and ISO 20022 compliance for quantum banking would have been accepted as the 209 countries of the world are all registered and anxious to get started. All we are waiting for is the code that will enter quantum artificial intelligence. The timing will be decided by the quantum brain running the operation. But the only problem is that almost none of these facts have manifested themselves at the public level yet, and that's what forces caution. Repercussions. The repercussions of this war have already caused an avalanche of events as predicted. Russia is switching to the gold standard in an effort to save its economy after being hit with heavy sanctions imposed by the West. Now, Russia is trying to mitigate the petrodollar with the help of China. Russia depends on China for economic support and cooperation, as China remains the leading global competitor to the United States. This means that 2 superpowers are breaking away from the petrodollar. They want to boycott the petrodollar so that the world transitions to a commodity-backed currency. Once this is done, the long-awaited global financial restart would begin as all currencies change in value based on commodities. The digital currency would be introduced through the quantum financial system after the financial restart. As global tensions increase, the occurrence of a black swan event becomes more possible every day, as sources have predicted. Reset news. First, A source in Iraq reported that they had massive celebrations across the country on Saturday, May 7th, because their dinar had supposedly been revalued. The revaluation of the Iraqi dinar was considered the pivot of the global financial restart. Second, last Tuesday, the IMF, World Bank, World Trade Organizations, and others gave Iraq the go-ahead signal. Third, on Friday, May 6th, Zimbabwe said it would decouple from the dollar and back itself in gold and assets. Fourth, Russia, China, Iraq, and other countries will no longer accept the petrodollar. 5. 209 banks were backed by gold this weekend. Chain bankruptcies. First, Storm Rider claims that major banks such as Deutsche Bank and Bank of America have already collapsed and they are telling their customers. Second, Europe's largest bank, Deutsche Bank, predicts a major recession. Third, the largest bank in the US, Bank of America, collapses and was bought by a smaller bank while warning that the recession was coming. Fourth, the big banks that didn't sign on to the new quantum system were collapsing or being bought out. 5. Tens of thousands of small banks have closed around the world. Takeover. First, Wells Fargo Bank is now controlled by white hats to revalue the currencies of 209 nations backed by gold and assets. Second, 200 countries have complied with the ISO 20022 Quantum Financial System standard, and when the codes are finished being introduced, the shutdowns will begin, or will start. Third, the price of gold is manipulated. The price of gold has been manipulated by central bank authorities for decades to maintain the supremacy of the dollar in the world monetary system, but this cannot last forever, said mining and movie mogul Frank Giustra. Fourth, 63% of the world's population is connected to the internet. 4.95 billion users. Predicted downturn. First, shares fall to their lowest level since March 2021. Second, stocks sink to a 30-month low. Third, Dow Jones drops 654 points. Standard & Poor's 500 falls below 4,000 amid a sea of stock losses. 4. On Friday, May 6th, the New York Stock Exchange lost more than 1,000 points as the market plunged with no sign of relief. 5. The stock market is taking a beating. It won't end anytime soon. 6. Stock market investors are very concerned about recession. 7. Wall Street's fear gauge doesn't yet indicate a stock market bottom is near, analysts say. 8. Inflation and Ukraine war seen as top financial risks according to Fed. Currencies. Cash is the only winner in a market dominated by fears of stagflation. Second, most currency traders see euro-dollar parity. Third, the Indian rupee continues its decline and records a new all-time low. China. First, BlackRock abandons bullish China call after shares fall 28%. Second, China carefully weighs Russia-Ukraine war over its Taiwan ambitions, CIA Director William Burns says. Third, Taiwan rocked by 6.3 magnitude earthquake for second time in 4 months. 4. China's imports from Russia rise to a new high, defying calls to cut ties over Ukraine war. Oil. First, oil falls as Saudi Arabia cuts prices and China's blockades increase. Second, oil prices close 6% lower to start the week as China's exports slump. Third, oil takes biggest hit since March amid the stock market plunge. Fourth, European Union still no agreement to ban Russian oil purchases. 5. Russian crude continues to flow as Europe wrangles over sanctions. 6. Hungary blocks negotiations on European Union embargo on Russian oil. 7. Russian oil trade will be more difficult from mid-May. Cryptocurrencies. First, the price of Bitcoin continues to fall with no sign of stopping. Second, Bitcoin falls 50% 6 months after reaching all-time highs. Third, Bitcoin is proving that it is not gold 2.0 as it moves in the same direction as stocks. Fourth, Ethereum miners earned more than Bitcoin miners in April. 5. Total crypto market capitalization has fallen to its lowest level in 10 months. Russia. First, Putin blames the West and NATO for fighting in Ukraine during his speech. Second, Putin's Victory Day speech gives no clues about future escalation. Third, Russia thwarts a Ukrainian landing on Snake Island. Fourth, Russia may be using trained dolphins to protect its naval bases. 5. Russia admits it faces economic collapse because of the war. Ukraine. First, about 1 million people have returned to Ukraine in recent weeks. Second, Ukraine warns of Russian preparations for imminent fighting in Transnistria. Third, CIA believes Russia will not use tactical nuclear weapons in Ukraine. I think so too. Fourth, Washington wants to prolong the war in Ukraine to regain its superpower status in a multipolar world, which includes weakening the European Union as well, writes Thierry Mason. Spain. First, 10 million Spaniards live outside the community in which they were born. Second, Ibiza is almost bursting at the seams in May, and this summer looks historic. Third, ship loaded with Russian coal docks at the Spanish port of Gijón. Fourth, earthquake of magnitude 2.6 recorded with epicenter in Chauchina, Granada. 5. Morocco mobilizes 32 ferries for summer strait crossing operation. 6. The first national police officers with tasers or electric pistols are already patrolling the streets of Madrid. 7. The Pegasus scandals of espionage in Spanish politics connects with the Royuela file according to Rafa Pal. 8. Created a vegan smoked salmon based on algae. It is an imitation of smoked salmon that promises to have a very similar taste and texture, which is made with algae from sustainable crops. Other countries. First, inflation in Mexico at 21-year high, and the central bank expects to raise it rates again. Second, Syria records highest number of children in need of aid, says UNICEF. Third, World Bank approves $150 million food loan to Lebanon. 4. Human Rights Watch calls on Jordan to end debt imprisonment. 5. Zimbabwe Bank loan freeze will worsen economic crisis, says Business Chamber. 6. Ivory Coast aims to raise $1.5 billion to restore forests and land. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.